Hey there. What's the difference between a business owner who starts a business, takes one step forwards and sometimes two steps back, and really struggles to get past that six-figure point? Are they doing the wrong things? Are they focusing on the wrong strategies? Do they have the wrong ideal client? It could be any of that, and it could be none of that. But here's what I know. As a business owner who has grown multiple six and seven figure businesses and has coached thousands of women business owners to do the same, there are three disciplines that I've noticed make a big difference to growing a sustainable six and seven figure business. And so today I am having a conversation with one of my favorite people about what it's taken for her to go from having a fabulous idea for a business to starting to take the steps forward to create a foundation, a strong foundation on which she's building a business that is making a huge difference to her ideal clients and that is also building sustainability inside of her business. Now, the clues and the insights that you're going to hear may not be what you expect because we can download all the ebooks, we can do all the webinars, we can join all the membership programs, we can do all the things and sometimes make very little traction. When you follow the three disciplines that we are talking about here today, it makes the world of difference. In conversation with me as we talk about this leap to a six and seven figure business is Yvonne Shepard from Women's Fitness Adventures. Hello, hello.
Hello. Sorry, I'm in the park and I have a phobia of birds and some just swooped by. So hello.
Oh no, low flying birds. Beware, beware. Well, I love firstly having you in a natural habitat, which is kind of your natural habitat at Women's Fitness Adventures, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been out hiking this morning, so I did a quick car change in the car and here I am. So yeah.
About Women's Fitness Adventures, I've kind of mentioned it, but you tell us about your incredible community that you've built. Start. How long have you been doing it, and tell us what it is you do and who you serve and all those fun things.
Sure. So Women's Fitness Adventures is coming up to 8 years old in May. So we're 7.5 years old. Yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness.
It started from a crazy idea that I had where I was in a very stressful corporate role and I wanted to go on a walk and, a dozen other women wanted to come with me. And from there, it's just grown. I had no idea how it was going to work or what it would look like, but I knew deep down that there was something in there that was going to make a difference to women's lives. So what we do, and of course we've pivoted a lot over the years, is we encourage women to become fitter and stronger for life. And we do that through our amazing community of women all over the world. We do that through our online hike training and fitness. And we also do that on our multi-day adventures where we can go soon again, hopefully all over the world with our treks.
So there is those two parts to the business, which wasn't the way when you started. You started by taking women on these incredible in-person adventures around Australia, to Cinque Terre in Italy, to Hawaii, to New Zealand. And as you said, over the years, you've diversified what you're doing. And so that you do now have this international community who are part of Women's Fitness Adventures and who are not only getting stronger and fitter, but also building amazing bonds with other women just like them. I want to talk about that because this is a business that is very, very scalable, that has opportunities that perhaps weren't even evident when you started the business all those years ago. And so I want to dive into that. And I want to start with the thinking around the business. Tell us how your thinking has changed and what caused it to change around what the business looks like and what it actually does.
Mm-hmm. So in the very beginning, it was me with a great idea and there were people who wanted my idea. So that was a great thing. And it was me doing everything and I was showing up in person. And then forever, basically, in the business, there's been more demand than we could supply. So for every adventure, whether that's a local in-person one or one around the world, there's been more women wanting to come with us than we could ever do. And it doesn't really matter how many leaders we have. So it had always been in the back of our mind, how do we scale this to be something, because we can't be everywhere all of the time. There'll be burnout. And we never had time to do that. It was always out there, but we never had time to get our thinking around it. And then as the business grew and our revenue became larger and, the profit came with it, I had the confidence and the ability, because it was proof of concept, to get some experts in and to, I became part of HerBusiness and then Mastermind, but to not waste my time doing all that stuff by myself, and to go, hey, I can actually invest in someone else who can help me with either the thinking or the nuts and bolts to get me to where I need to go. And then, of course, this crazy little thing called the pandemic came along. And I think it was just about this time when it started, we had our last one of these. And it was, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with New Zealand today because we can't go next week. And we thought, how do we sustain this business long term? And it was really all of those things that we had thought of back in the beginning but never had time to do that started us to think that, you know, it's more than a hobby. Women like, or our customers like what we do. We can do more of this, but how do we make it around the lifestyle that I want long term, rather than just trading my time for money and treating it more as a hobby or a job, because it is actually a business that has a lot of potential to take wherever we want to.
And you say something very important there, and that is one of the differences between a small business owner who is the business and a business owner who separates themselves from the business. They're still steering that ship, but they see this business as something that is there to serve their bigger dreams and their wishes. And that is part of the thinking that isn't automatic. It doesn't just happen necessarily when we start a business. It's something that some people will make that shift in their thinking, and others will not. And you've definitely made that thinking. And the other thing is that you saw, well, may not have felt like an opportunity initially when COVID and the pandemic started. It just felt like a nightmare. But that you said, okay, so I need to change my thinking about what a business is, about how I serve women, about how women go on hikes, about how women build relationships with other women business owners, on how they stay fit and healthy, on how they have adventure in their lives. And you changed the vision of what the business could be. And then you started to align your activities, what your team did, what your marketing said. And I've just had the honor of being able to see that transition over the last couple of years to build what is an incredible business, and a business that's continuing to grow and scale, but now has so much more possibility through this adversity that you've had to overcome. And so I'm just so excited for you, Yvonne. And I know you and I have spoken about this before. But, you know, sometimes, and we'll talk about mindset, because I do think it's partly, you know, what the internal work that you've done that has allowed you to maintain the confidence, that has you surround yourself with people who help build that resilience. But before we go there, I want to talk about, because you mentioned, you know, bringing on experts and having other people in your business. One of the things that I know for sure is that someone who's growing and scaling a business, what they do on a day-to-day basis in their business is very different from someone who, as you said, is exchanging their time for money. So before we get to that question, when was the point that you went, no longer hobby, real business? No longer hobby, real business. Like, what was that turning point? Do you remember?
It was probably, you know, when you first start, you work all the time and you love it. You have that excitement and that passion, but there comes a point where you think, if I keep working all the time, I'm not going to enjoy this anymore. There needs to be some financial reward. There needs to be some flexibility with time. And I don't know if there was an actual time, or if it was just at some point that shift started to happen. And I thought, this business needs to sustain me. If something were to happen and I couldn't operate, can this business operate without me? And it couldn't at that time. So it was kind of that, and not wanting to work all the time, that meant it needs to be standalone. And if it's not going to be standalone, then I'm just wasting my time. I don't want to waste my time. I can go and get a job, you know, somewhere else and do that, you know, get paid by the hour and not take it home with me. So
go home on a Friday night and, you know, have a normal weekend. And you mentioned something really important. Like, yes, something could happen to you, but it could be that there's a child that's sick, or that is doing the HSC that someone needs to take care of, or an age relative, or a partner who is unwell, or just wanting to take, you know, 6 weeks off and go and travel and, you know, sit by the beach, whatever those things are. What are the things that you do now in your business that are different to perhaps what you used to do when you were doing all the things?
Some of the things I don't answer the inbox. That's not my thing, which is great. I don't answer the phone. Well, I literally don't answer the phone, even if it's my personal one. You have to text me. But I don't answer the work phone. If I'm working on a weekend, I make sure that the stuff I'm doing is future stuff. It's not any day-to-day stuff, which was a big game changer, because weekends are sometimes I work and take adventures, but weekends are precious time. So if I'm going to spend my precious time, it needs to be on something that will move the business forward. And I think that was a bit of a game changer as well. And
that is a distinction. Can I hang on that just for a second? Because I
mm.
really want people to hear that. So yes, Yvonne may work on the weekend, but she's not doing the busy stuff. She's not doing the admin. She's not inside of the inbox. She's not inside of customer service. She's working on the business. She's taking that time when she says about the future. That is her working strategically on the business. And that is a game changer, because sometimes in the day-to-day, we actually don't get time for the working on the business. So I think that's, if you take anything away from this interview, take that away. That's incredible. Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
So that made a difference as to how I spend my time as well. I don't try and figure out a lot of stuff on my own anymore. Like Facebook ads and all of that just confuses the heck out of me. So I just pay someone else to do that. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. Starting to rain here, creating documents and stuff, I might, quickly whip up a checklist, but longer term PDFs or landing pages, I've wasted weekends trying to figure those things out, and they look crappy. So I just pay experts to do it, and it may mean it delays, some extra profit or anything like that, but I know it's better long term for the vision that I have of the business. I'm going to move under the tree because it's raining.
Sure, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No,
I'll
you'll
keep
be
talking.
right with me. Yeah. You keep talking.
So that again is really, really important, is that Yvonne knows that her role in the business is as the visionary, it's as the strategist, it's as the CEO, it's as the leader of the organization. And so while she's very capable and she could do all those other things, it's not her in her genius zone. It's not her connecting with her ideal client, coming up with strategic alliances, doing the big negotiations, right? So for each of us, there's a lesson in that. And whether we think, oh, I don't know if I can afford to have someone do that, you can't afford not to move out of that role. And the thing that keeps us small is not letting go of the roles that we have outgrown. They are words that a mentor said to me many, many years ago that I have not forgotten. And sometimes there's one step forward and two step back, and you lose a team member, you end up back in that seat, doing that thing that you shouldn't be doing. But ultimately, if the vision is, I'm going to keep developing this role so that it serves me, as Yvonne said, and keep doing the things that only I can do, serving my business and my clients at the highest level, rather than doing all the things that I could be getting other people who are better. Like, for me, get me away from anything design or WordPress or anything technical. That's not the best use of my time. All right. Are you dry?
Yeah, dry enough. Yeah, I'm hanging off a barbecue in a park. But that's okay. It's my natural environment.
And it's your natural environment. Yes, you've probably got the right gear in the car too.
I have probably, yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about mindset, something that I know you and I have loved to talk about in the past. And because that's also something that needs to shift. And that is also one of those disciplines that is different in a business owner who thrives, who starts to work on the things that are important, not all the things, who doesn't get overwhelmed and distracted by bright, shiny objects. Yes, I'm still here. Hopefully you can hear me. Tell us a little bit about the mindset shifts that you have had as you've over the years that you've grown your business, and the ones that made the biggest difference, that have had you really take leaps in who you're being in your business.
Yeah. So once I got the proof of concept and I got validation that what I was doing was people were happy to join, participate, and pay money for, that was a big shift. That it wasn't just, hey, let's come along, go for a walk with Yvonne, and so that was a big shift. That once the proof of concept worked, the other big shift was surrounding myself with peers in Mastermind, particularly, where you could all think at that higher level. That causes you. It's a bit like, you don't know what you don't know till you get around people, and then you think, oh my gosh, I'm just the little fish in a big pond now. So that was a big mindset. The mind shift change was also, what did I want long term? And I have this crazy idea that one day I can live overseas, 3 months in the Greek islands and 3 months in Paris and 3 months here and 3 months there, and I can still operate my business from there. So how do I need to start shifting my thinking to get this business that was about in-person, one-on-one or one-on groups to be something that I can sustain for the long term? So, and also no one's getting younger. I was getting tired, so
Mm.
physically tired. So how do I maintain my health and all the things that I share with my community? How do I be the role model for that community as well? So you've got rain in my glasses now. So it's gone now, that big storm. So they were kind of the things. It was maybe it was pretty selfish, the mind shift, but it was all about what did I want for the long term? Because if I was giving to everybody else, what was I giving to myself to make this work for me as well?
See, that's part of mindset as well. Am I being selfish by indulging myself in creating the business that I want? Is it okay for me to have a business that serves me, and only me? And that is, I think, something interesting for women to think about, is that, am I doing what I'm doing to serve my family, to serve my clients? And maybe you want to do all those things to serve my community or my faith or whoever the important people are in, but it also needs to be a vehicle for you to have the self-expression, for you to have the rewards for the work that you do. And that is part of mindset, is saying, you know what, it's okay for me to design a business where I am 3 months in Paris and 3 months in Spain and 3 months on the Greek islands. And
They're the countries,
yes to all of that. Yeah. And I just wanted to mention, Yvonne mentioned earlier having joined the HerBusiness community, and she mentioned the mastermind a couple of times. And for those of you who are perhaps not familiar with our HerBusiness community, the mastermind is our year-long marketing success mastermind program that Yvonne's been a part of for a number of years. Now, I know you're getting wet, so I do want to hurry it up.
It's gone. It's gone away.
It's gone. All right. Very good. All right. Well, I will just relax. I want to talk about letting go. And this idea, she grunts, letting go. I know for me, certainly, that's been one of the hardest things, is to let go, and to not only let go of jobs and having people do those, but also let go of my agenda, my own limitations, where I think of what's possible, and just to really allow myself to create the big vision, and then find the things that flow, find the work that I love to do, the people I like to be around, the customers that I want to work with. I know, you and I have both done this. There's some people that you want to say no to. You don't want them in your life. You don't want to be serving them. And I think part of us really creating businesses and lives we love is just getting clarity around what's a yes for us and what is a no for us. So I want to talk to you about things needing to be perfect and letting go, and those two contrasts. Do you know anything about those? Ever come into your psyche?
Nothing. This is not perfect today. Look, I'm on my knees in the park with the rain coming down. Letting go, I'm a really bad perfectionist. I did a live the other night and was talking about, is anyone else a perfectionist? And a couple of women wrote, no, I'm not, but I like things done my way, and if I get them wrong, then I feel bad. And I went, well, that's a perfectionist. So it's kind of, and you feel that, if you're, by the time you teach someone to do it, you could have done it yourself, all that kind of stuff. But I have over the years learned, thanks to you and the peers, that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to get done. It needs to get done in the right context. But my way isn't always the best way, that other people, believe it or not, can have ideas that might be good ideas too about my business. But also letting go, as you know, I've pivoted the business a lot over the last 8 years, and the market changes as well. So if I hold on to the same idea for the business that I had 8 years ago, I'd just be one of many. And if by letting go, I'm actually opening myself up to a whole lot more opportunity, because I can see that opportunity. And it's the same with doing the day-to-day stuff or letting that go. When you let that go, you can actually give yourself permission to look forward to what might be possibilities. And with you guys, I've been trained now to think that, still not perfect at it, but it's okay to have those really big visions out there, because if you don't have them out there, if you don't let go of your small thinking, you're never ever going to get near one of those long-term visions or long-term ideals. So
the only I can do it, or I can do it best, that's a way of thinking that keeps you small, because it doesn't open up the possibility that maybe you could be another way. But there's something you just said there that I wanted to pick up on, and it's gone totally out of my head. Anyway,
about
I'm sure it'll circle back.
About the market changing. Was it around
Yes, thank you for trying to prompt me to get back on track. I love this is a good interview, and the interviewee is interviewing, is prompting me. No, I'm sure it'll come back, but it is about that idea of, I know what it was. Now, this is an analogy I heard once, and it was about, if you think about a trapeze, you're on a swing, and the next swing is coming towards you. You have to let go of this one to catch the next one. Otherwise, you're going to be like this midair and likely to kill yourself. And so that's a very sort of pointy version of what it is, but it's like that. At some point, we need to let go of the old. We need to let go of the way it was, or those clients that no longer serve us, or that product and service that we so absolutely love, but the market is not right for, or that keeps the business small, or that way of thinking that has us keep doing the thing that keeps tripping us up. So it is a process of letting go. And as a control freak, I don't find that easy. But I've been in business long enough, and I've seen it work for me, and I've seen it work for so many of the women in our community, is that we need to let go of the attachments to have to the way it was in order to have the way that it can be. And that is one of the disciplines of looking at your thinking, of letting go of that job that, I'm the best person to do this and no one else can do this as well as me. And also the, $1 million businesses, they're for someone else. They're not for me. 6-figure businesses, that's someone else. But, to think, I could earn more than my partner, or I can earn more than my siblings, or I can have a bigger business, even though I haven't got that MBA. That is also letting go of that upper limit thinking. And for me, this conversation is so rich in that I just, me, I'm very passionate about having women really step into their full potential in business. And when I can see it, it's so easy for us to see it on someone else, but it can be so hard to see it in ourselves if we don't stop and we reflect and we examine our thinking and we look at, well, what am I doing on a day-to-day basis that keeps me small? Or, what's going on in my mindset that keeps tripping me up? And so I just love this. It's a very rich conversation.
One of the things that I use, which is a perfect analogy, is because we have women generally over 50, they're our clients, 50 to late 70s, who are interested in either boosting their fitness or getting started with their fitness with the goal of friendships and outdoor adventures, is we have the same analogy. So, you can define yourself by who you were. I had a knee injury 25 years ago, therefore I can't. Or, that's not me, that's not my type of person. And we had this fabulous discussion on one of our online walks the other day, was from a book club we're in together, that it's okay to shut one door. The next door doesn't have to be yet open, because sometimes you can't open that possibility until you've shut one door. And if we're so busy, hands indoors and, one foot inside one and the other, that we don't give ourselves space to actually look at what is around us and where the opportunities, not the bright, shiny objects, but, what are the good things that I've created and where can I take that going forward? Because if we stand still as business owners, and that, I guess that's a mindset and a thinking change as well. Because I'm an entrepreneur, I want my business to be X. If I stand still and don't look around, I'm never going to get to be out there. I'm going to stay exactly where I am, stuck on that one rope.
And that pause, we rip ourselves off when we don't pause, when we don't stop to reflect. And a friend of mine very recently said this, and is that, how can we have our lives be more spacious? And I thought, I want more of that. More spacious, so that we have time to think. We have time to do the deep work. We have time to say, I want that. No, I no longer want that. But when we crowd our days and our experiences with everything, too many projects, too many ideal clients, too many offers, too many, social media channels, etc., we never create the space to stop and reflect. And there's a saying in a book by Thomas Friedman, where it says, when you press the pause button on a machine, it stops. But when you press pause on a human being, that's when they start. That's when you start to have the insights and the thinking. And I can just feel myself breathe easier, Yvonne, just even as I'm saying it, because I have to remind myself to pause. I have to remind myself to take a breath and create those opportunities for those doors to open, for those relationships to flourish, for that little fire to really ignite and start to take off. And I just wish that for so many more of us to have the space to inhale and exhale and create these incredible businesses without feeling like we have to do all the things or more things, right? Which is the tendency.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And one of the things that I've learned, and I use this analogy a lot as well, is I used to be hung up a lot on what my competitors were doing, and our market became very crowded pre-COVID, and everyone was doing what we were doing in a different way and finding your tribe. But it was all about, the Olympians taught me this, for the years preceding the 20 or 21, whatever they wanted to call it in the end, Olympics. They literally swam in their own lane or ran their own race. They could not compete on the world stage. They didn't know how they were faring till they showed up on this arena and they had their moment to shine. And they outshone everybody else for their personal best. And as a business owner, that analogy is really sticking with me. This is my business. This is my playground. It's my race, if I want to call it that. What the competitor's doing is their own thing. If I'm doing and achieving my personal best, then that's serving all of my customers as well. So I think that's a great, mindset.
I think that's a great analogy, because you can imagine the swimmer or the runner, and they're running along, and what they're checking out, the other, they're going to be in last place if they do that. But if they can keep the blinkers on, like the imaginary blinkers on, and stay in their lane, and that can be hard to do when you think, oh, they've got more resources than me, or they've got a bigger team, or they're doing a challenge, or they've got an ebook, or they're doing a membership, or they're, we see all these things. The thing is getting really clear on our vision. What do we want our business to do to serve us? And then really having people around you that reflect back to you. Are you on your course? Are you off your course? Are you? And so that's why I know you create a community where these women reflect back to each other what it's like to be strong, to be healthy into your older years, and to not have to do it alone, to have the guidance and the coaching and the community to do that. And, and I do something similar inside the HerBusiness Network for women who want to grow and scale businesses. So our missions are very much aligned, even though our audiences are. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Is there anything you would like to add to this whole idea of the leap to 6 figures, the leap to 7 figures, and what it might take as far as the 3 disciplines of thinking, doing, and mindset?
If you know that it's a proof of concept, that people are willing to pay, you've done the homework, and you want to take it, you want to take it to another level, then it is all in the mind. It's not about how many hours you work or how hard you work. It's about getting that mind shift that this business can become whatever I want it to be. Surround yourself with education, constant education. I'm always, as you know, I'm always doing things. As a teenager, I had Post-it notes all over my room, knowledge is power and stuff. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing. And the other thing is to just get the experts to do the stuff. Don't waste your time on learning new things if it doesn't interest you. It'll just take you away from that purpose. And find the group that supports you, as you said, reflects back in your values. We have that in our community. And don't waste time on people that don't buy into you, because it's not serving you.
Thank you so much. Please go ahead and check out womensfitnessadventures.com. Periodically, Yvonne runs online challenges. And in fact, if you head over there now, you might just find there's one that you can join right now. Actually, why don't you take a minute to just tell us about the challenge that you're running right now, which started this morning, but people can still get in on, right?
Yeah, you can still get in. So it's called 5 kilometers for 5 days October challenge. And it is for women all over the world to participate in walking 5 kilometers or up to or more a day, each day for 5 days. And inside the challenge, we give tastes of what life is like inside Women's Fitness Adventures. So we have our online adventures where you connect. We do our live streaming fitness sessions. We have online chats. We have a prize a day. Awesome. But everyone inside this private group posts their photos, whether it's a scenery or a watch or a distance. It's like a travel catalogue of the world. It is unbelievable. We have every corner literally covered, and I wake up in the morning and see the other side of the world. But the women are just supporting each other. There is so much support in there, a bit like inside the HerBusiness community, that everyone is just wanting everybody else to succeed, and that's just such an amazing thing.
That is great. So head on over to Women's Fitness Adventures. Also, wherever you're watching this video right now, I will put a link to that challenge as well, so you can go ahead and sign up. Thank you so much for joining me. Always a treat to speak to you. All right, I'm glad you didn't get overly rained on. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
That is a wonderful Yvonne Shepard from Women's Fitness Adventures. I just love that conversation because this idea, these three reflections, these three disciplines of what is it that I'm doing inside of my business? And am I putting my energy to the highest purpose where I can serve my business and my clients? And what am I thinking? Is my thinking small? How can I think bigger? Do I think that there's no business without me? There might be some changes that you can make if you sit and think about, hey, this is what I want my business to look like. And if I just did the things that support that thinking, I'm going to get the results that I really want to get. And finally, mindset. Mindset is such a big part of growing a fantastic business. Amen. Yes, it's the truth, right? And having coached thousands of women business owners, this is what I know, is that the inner game of business is just as important as any strategy or tactic or marketing platform or product and service. Because that internal game of business, knowing when we're hitting our upper limit thinking, knowing when we're not supporting ourselves, because maybe we've got a negative Nancy on our shoulders, being our internal dialogue, or we're feeling the imposter syndrome, or we're feeling like I'm getting too big for my boots. Whatever that thinking is that could be critical or bringing you down, it's a matter of really nailing that and really moving it on so that you can continue to move forward. Here's what I've done. I've created a 3-part audio series called The 3 Reflections. It's an absolutely free gift for you, and it's available right now at the3reflections.com. I actually don't have it as a URL, but maybe one of my team will post it up here for you. It's the number 3 reflections.com. And if you head on over there, you see that you can get the audio series and the bonus journal that allows you to just take that time to pause that I spoke about and start to really examine what's going on with my thinking. And is it supporting me? What is going on with what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis? Because you know what, I'm tired, like Yvonne said, or I'm burning out, whatever the situation is. And then move on to what's happening internally. How's my mindset? How's my resilience? How's my confidence? And started to get all those things in check so that you can have all your energy lined up to growing your amazing, amazing business and creating the future that's available to you. So go ahead and get the 3reflections.com while it's available. It's a $127 training that I'm making available for free for a limited time only. So go ahead and grab that, and I will see you there. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks again to Yvonne from Women's Fitness Adventures. Bye for now.